welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into a seriously fascinating story, straight from our source texts. We're going to unpack the epic, multi-life journey of sage Narada. Now, a lot of us already know him as this incredible cosmic traveler, right? But today we're actually going to peel back the layers and explore the deeper fabric of cosmic law, karma, and the really intense lifetimes that forged him into the legend he became.
So you kind of have to wonder, how exactly does a cursed celestial being manage to turn it all around and become the universe's greatest, most unparalleled sage? It's a pretty profound question, and it really sits at the heart of our source material today, because it shows us that destiny isn't just something that passively happens to you. It's actually something you can actively rewrite. All right, to truly understand the sage, we first have to figure out who he was before all of this. Our texts define his initial identity as Upabarhana. Upabarhana was a celestial Gandharva. Basically, he lived this incredibly high-status, heavenly existence. He was surrounded by glory, top-tier education, and fame. But even though he literally had everything you could possibly ask for in the celestial realm, he had a massive flaw. He harbored a profound lack of discipline. And well, as we're going to see, that single flaw set the stage for a really monumental downfall. The texts point to one huge inciting incident. Upabarhana was at this grand assembly surrounded by highly revered, respected sages. Now, despite his vast knowledge and his really elevated status, he totally gave in to lust. He behaved completely inappropriately right in front of these elders. He acted without a single shred of discipline. And let me tell you, that deeply, deeply angered the creator, Brahma himself. That anger brought down a swift and totally devastating judgment. Brahma cursed him on the spot. He said, "Since you behaved with such lust, you shall be born as a human to experience this indignity." Think about that for a second. The absolute main takeaway here is that a sheer lack of discipline wiped out his highly privileged, heavenly life in a split second. Poof! Everything he had was just gone. And that single moment kicks off this wild, chronological journey across 3 totally distinct phases. We start off with phase 1, which we just talked about, Upabarhana, the disgraced celestial. That harsh fall drops him straight into phase 2, his life as a human boy, enduring a really tough mortal existence. And then, finally, phase 3, his ultimate, incredible ascension into sage Narada. The contrast when he hits that second phase is just staggering. I mean, he goes from a past life of absolute celestial grandeur and wakes up to the harsh reality of mortal hardship. He's born on Earth in a tiny, poor hut. His mortal father dies when he's just a little kid, leaving him to be raised entirely by his widowed mother. And to survive, she had to work grueling hours as a maidservant in the house of a local Brahmin. It is the definition of hitting rock bottom. But, the universe has this funny way of balancing the scales. The texts bring us to a massive turning point. The Brahmin that his mother worked for happened to be a deeply pious man. And one day, right during the rainy season, a group of highly devout worshippers of Narayana came to stay at the Brahmin's house. Providentially, because the young boy was just tagging along with his mom to her workplace, he was directly exposed to these amazing devotees. And that perfectly sets the stage for his spiritual awakening. His devotion actually grew in 3 really specific steps. First off, the boy respectfully and just eagerly ate the leftovers from the devotees' meals. The visiting sages saw this and were super impressed by his natural piety. So they moved to step 2. They actually initiate him by teaching him the Narayana mantra. And from that exact moment, step 3 takes over. The kid completely drops normal childhood play. Instead, he completely immerses himself in relentless, unwavering chanting of that mantra. So he's firmly on this brand new, highly disciplined path. But then, tragedy strikes. The source texts narrate this incredibly sudden, heartbreaking event. His mother gets bitten by a snake, and she tragically passes away. It's an incredibly heavy, somber moment in the story. For the boy, this abruptly severs his very last earthly tie. His dad is gone, and now his mom is gone. And this forces a massive, irreversible shift in the entire trajectory of his life. Now, how he responds to this tragedy, that is what completely defines his future. While most people would understandably just succumb to paralyzing despair and worldly grief, this boy uniquely channels his sorrow straight into determination. He retreats deep into the forest, finds this isolated little spot by a pond, and begins to perform fierce, unbelievably intense meditation. He just sits there with one singular burning desire. He wants to see Narayana with his own 2 eyes. And you know what? That unyielding discipline actually pays off. It brings us to the absolute climax of his journey. Thirumal, or Narayana, literally appears to him in the sky, and he delivers this incredibly precise boon. He says, "Child, when the cosmic deluge comes, you will be freed from this birth and attain the supreme state of being, born as the son of Brahma." That right there is the promise that changes the young boy's destiny forever. Okay, let's pause for a second, because to fully grasp the sheer weight of that promise, we need to quickly understand a specific concept from the texts. Let's talk about Uzi column, which is also known as pralaya. Basically, this is the cosmic deluge. It's a massive, universal destruction. Think of it as a complete cosmic reset button that gets pushed right before a brand new era of creation can even begin. This colossal event is the exact moment that finally puts an end to the boy's mortal suffering and brings that divine promise to life.
So the deluge happens, the universe resets, and then Brahma begins the whole process of creation anew. And just as promised, he is reborn. He emerges directly from Brahma, right alongside other great sages like Marichi, and he's already holding his iconic instrument, the Mahathi Veena. It's in this magnificent, brilliant moment that he finally claims the name we all recognize, Narada.
So here we have him in his ultimate ascended cosmic form. He's officially bestowed the name Narada by Brahma. He carries the divine Mahathi Veena, but what's absolutely crucial here is that the texts note he is completely unparalleled. And why? Because of the immense, grueling penance of his past mortal life. It was that specific past dedication that earned him the ultimate VIP pass, the unique power to travel freely across all worlds. We've journeyed all the way from a disgraced celestial down to a suffering mortal boy, and finally back up to the ultimate cosmic sage. It's an incredible arc. And I want to leave you with this final thought. If a cursed celestial can completely rewrite his entire destiny through sheer devotion and incredibly strict discipline across multiple lifetimes, what boundaries can you break in your own life? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this fresh look at the texts leaves you wanting to explore even deeper.
Subscribe for more videos.